Okay, so here's the thing that's happening right now. Okay, so here's what's happening. I have 2 Dead Cells videos that were supposed to render and be ready to go for Friday and then possibly Monday, but there were some rendering issues. I think it has to do with hard drive space. So what has happened is it's currently like 1 or 2 a.m. on Friday morning, and I know I need to get a video out in 5 hours. I thought I had them ready, and apparently I don't. So I'm going to record a quick Dead Cells video here. Now things are going to be a little bit out of order. You're seeing me start here at a midway point in the game. As you can see, we're not starting at the very start, because what you're going to see leading up to this point are what's going to happen in the next 2 videos. So things are a little bit out of order here. I apologize for that, but we're going to go ahead and get started. I know I need to make a very short, very quick, very easy to make Dead Cells video so I can get one out within the next 5 hours or so. So, as far as sleep is concerned, probably not going to get to do a lot of that. Because I've also got other work and stuff that I need to do for Friday. So anyway, there's that. But I'm going to make it worth your while, folks. Even this is sort of like a phoning one in video. Like I kind of need to do things a little bit out of order or what have you. I'm going to make it worth your while, because apparently my Dead Cells series is a series where I talk a lot about like stories from high school and stuff like that. And I have one for you that may not be as, dramatic as some of the others that you've heard. Oh no! I was speaking of drama. Ow! Okay, this is not what I really wanted to happen here. But this is a story about how I won an award and didn't even know it. How I won an award in high school and like had no clue that I was even in the running. So here's the story. First of all, let me start way at the beginning. In elementary school, you guys ever heard of the XBAND video game modem for the Nintendo and Genesis? Probably not. Like, most likely not. But a lot of my online foundations were formed on the XBAND video game modem. It was a dial-up modem that worked with the Super Nintendo, and I played a lot on it. It did not succeed financially. It was far ahead of its time. But a long, long time before PlayStation Network and Xbox Live were a thing, or even BattleNet for that matter. Long time ago, before any of that was even a thought in anybody's notebooks or business plans, there was XBAND, a video game modem that let you play video games online, the video games you already owned, online with other players. And it was run off of dial-up. I think the technology was the limiting factor there, as well as their marketing budget, because a lot of people probably don't even know about it and didn't know about it at the time, I feel. Anyway, I had an XBAND, and it was awesome. I loved it. It was my first online experience. I even had an XBAND email address, which was, a first. I didn't know it was even like a functioning email address until like later on, when I discovered I could use @something.com to use what they called Xmail to actually email other people who had computers, like America Online stuff and things like that. So anyway, on XBAND, well, that's where I got my first taste of being online. That's where I actually ran like a sort of like a message board. It was weird. Not really weird, but you had a character profile, you had a player profile that would show your match history and stuff like that, but you could also write like a little 3 or 4 sentence paragraph on it, and people updated theirs some people updated theirs on a daily basis to provide like news or thoughts or commentary on stuff. And it kind of created like something that you would follow certain people and read their profile every day. Some people would, I don't know. Some people got creative with their profile. They started using it as more than just a player profile to show their stats and stuff like that, or like say, hey, I'm the gamer who rocks at Mortal Kombat or whatever. Most people use it for that sort of stuff. But yeah, I didn't really use mine so much in that way. Honestly, that wasn't a big thing that I did. But I was fully aware of it, and I may very well have tried it at some point. I don't know, probably not. But that sort of stuff that I used to do when it comes to XBAND, not really clear to me at this point. I remember the gaming very well. But all of the other extraneous stuff. I remember actually having a club on XBAND, which was really cool. Because clubs and clans were a big thing. Doing X-mail bombs on other people's accounts was a thing, because you could only hold 10 messages in your X-mail box. Now it could hold several. It could hold, like, I don't know, a lot in reserve. But you could only have 10 on screen at once, and you had to download them 10 at a time. So if somebody made you really mad, you would have your whole clan X-mail bomb them, which is to spam them with messages. And so, like, they would have to dial up, which would, you know, dial a phone number, get the response from XBAND servers, and then connect them to the internet, and then that would download their 10 X-mail messages. So they would have to do that, get 10 of them, delete the 10 one at a time that you and your clan sent, and then they would have to connect again, get their next 10, you know, dial in again, get the response again. So connect, get their next 10, and then delete those 10 until they were finished going through your X-mail bomb. It was just a bit of inconvenience, but really for kids who have nothing else to do, it wasn't a big consequence or anything. But anyway, I don't know if I participated too much in the X-mail bombing thing. I may have been X-mail bombed once or twice, but this is just to show you that this is my first, you know, taste of online play back in, I don't know, 95? I don't even remember. Mid-90s, I want to say. So anyway, there's that. And, you know, being online was awesome. Eventually, this is getting somewhere, trust me. Eventually, the XBAND goes out of business. Like I said, it did not succeed financially. So eventually it goes out of business. And I remember setting aside time to stay up late at night so that I could be on the XBAND network until the very minute it shut down, until the very minute their servers stopped responding to calls to connect to the XBAND network. It was a very somber time, losing the XBAND and all that fun and stuff that we all had on it. It was great. But anyway, that left a pretty big void in my life, because, you know, I would then have to go from being someone who gets online on a regular basis, even if it is only to play video games online. And I didn't have, like, access to actual message boards and things like that. Maybe I wasn't online in the capacity that some, not a lot, that some people were online in those days. But I was online. So going from being somebody who logged online every day to somebody who doesn't, yeah, that was, especially as a kid. Well, I don't know, as a kid maybe I was a little bit more adaptable, but it was difficult. It wasn't something, oh, here's the sandals, I can get the sandals again. The Assassin's Dagger is cool. I kind of want to get the sandals, but yeah, the backstab of the Assassin's Dagger is really cool. Fires an arrow upward, really. Fires an arrow in front of you. Every 3 hits is a critical blow. 50% damage on a poison target. An arrow upward. But just because I've never seen a weapon do that, that's gonna push me toward buying this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the dagger. I don't think I can sell this, right? Okay. Oh, interesting. And it's kind of spammy, too. That's pretty cool. Okay, well, we're gonna try this out. Anyway, so that left a pretty big void, because, you know, going from being somebody who logs online every day to somebody who can't do that anymore, it's hard. And so I started looking for other options as far as being able to get online. And, you know, around the time, there was a device that you could hook up to your TV. And more of you probably know about this next one than knew about XBAND when I mentioned it. But there was something called WebTV. And it's a device, it was a box that you could hook up to your TV. And it would let you connect to the internet. And it had its own browser. And you can connect, oh, that's so cool. And you can connect to websites and stuff like that. And it was basically just a web browser for your TV. And it had a wireless keyboard and a wireless remote control. So you could browse via either of those options. And it was just so much cool, dude. It was amazing. Because I could, like, wake up in the morning on Saturday mornings when there was no school, log online, and just do whatever it is I wanted to do online that day. Which was so freaking cool. There were so many options available. It opened up whole new doors. Obviously, it didn't let me play Street Fighter and Killer Instinct and Mortal Kombat and Doom and Mario Kart online with people, but it opened up the rest of the possibility. Well, a lot of the rest of the possibilities involving the internet to me, or involving the web to me, which was really cool. I had so much fun going to chat rooms, and there was no Google at the time. There was like several different kinds of search engines, so being able to use search engines for stuff like my homework and things like that, yeah, I was one of those kids who could do my research online. I didn't have to go to the library. Honestly, though, search technology back then kind of sucked terribly, so when you were looking up information, even if using multiple search engines, you probably only had like 3 or 4 sources of information, because we're talking about a time where there was no Wikipedia, there was no Google, there was no YouTube, there was no video footage of anything that you could easily find to be able to... Oh, dude, 1,400 gold for an upgrade? Yes. So anyway, it was a very different time back then. But, it was just really, really neat to be online again. And having all these new doors open to me. One of those doors was a website called Angel Fire. And again, this is probably something more and more people are recognizing as I continue to talk about it, but there was something called Angel Fire, which lets you make your own website. And of course, they had their very basic editor that lets you make your own website without having to know HTML. But I didn't want... That wasn't enough for me. If I was working on a website, and I started making my own website. If I was making a website, I wanted to learn like how the workings of it were all done, and be able to do the advanced stuff, and go further with it than just the basic editor, which had very, very basic editing capabilities. So I went out and bought, or probably had my parents buy, a book on HTML, and this is in the 90s. What is this? Balanced blade. Nice, I'll sell it. So I'm still very interested in this arrow. Although that one might have had an arrow. I don't know. I didn't read. Anyway, I got this book, Beginner's HTML, or just an HTML book, and I started reading it. I started reading it constantly, and I started learning from it and applying what I learned on my Angel Fire website, which was difficult because being able to copy and paste things would have been very, very nice, but I didn't have that functionality on WebTV. There was no mouse. It was a wireless keyboard. WebTV was designed to do one very specific thing, which was to allow you to browse the web, and that's pretty much it. It wasn't designed for production of any kind. But I used its systems and kind of worked with what I had at the time and was able to make a functioning website. And I had topics and stuff like that I wanted to write about, and do all kinds of gaming stuff and challenges and gaming hints and things. It was really cool. And of course, like I said, challenged. It was really, really neat to be able to make a website like that. Learning HTML just because I was genuinely interested in that kind of thing. So at this point, I think I'm like in middle school now. This story is taking place over the course of years in my childhood. So I'm in middle school when I'm doing all this stuff, and WebTV becomes a staple of my day-to-day, which is pretty sweet, pretty awesome. Oh, I was trying to go for the crate. Ah! And eventually, technology reaches the point where it starts becoming more mainstay, more commonplace. You start seeing computers in more and more offices. You start seeing computers in schools. Ooh. Yeah, because until high school... Well, actually, I had computers starting since elementary, but they weren't a major thing. But around the time that I entered high school, my high school decided to make technology a major thing. So just about every classroom had computers, and they wanted it to be a huge part of their curriculum and how they functioned. They were trying to look forward into the future. Like a lot of... It's a pretty good idea. So anyway... I get into high school, and I start using computers for the first time, like on a regular basis with some knowledge, and for more and more things, computers become more and more something that I'm using regularly, which was awesome. I was excited about that, being an HTML programmer already on a WebTV, getting access to a mouse, a keyboard, and a device that handles the internet, that is more designed to handle the internet than a WebTV, or more capable than a WebTV is, because of its better hardware. It's more up-to-date hardware and stuff like that. And the monitor that has a higher resolution than your standard TV did. All kinds of things. Like, I looked at my own website. First thing I did, my first day of high school, I think, or first or second, was whenever I first got access to their computers with internet, first thing I did was go to my website, and I was taken aback by how sharp and crisp it looked on their computer monitors compared to how it looked on my TV. Like the WebTVs, you know, these days I'm fully capable of understanding what was going on. Like I know that my WebTV's browser's method of handling text and anti-aliasing on text and the low resolution of the TV screen all of course led to a sort of blurry-ish, but not really, looking feel on the WebTV. It looked fine. It didn't look bad by any stretch. But whenever I looked at some text that had no anti-aliasing and was all pixelated or all pixely, to me that looked sharper. It looked a little bit more high-tech, or it looked a little bit more modern, I guess. I don't know. But looking at my own website through a different browser, which back then I guess was Internet Explorer, it was just one of those things like, whoa, huge experience for me. Anyway, it was pretty freaking neat, man. And obviously, as the year goes on, I'm looking for more and more opportunities to be able to use the computers, and of course I do exactly that. In my history class, I don't know why I started doing this. I don't know if it was assigned to me as a project, or if it's just something I started doing for fun. But I made a website, I made a web page for my history class, just for that class. And I took pictures because, again, the school was like really big on trying to incorporate technology into just about everything they did. Very forward-thinking at the time. I know that's commonplace now, but it was very forward-thinking at the time. Not all schools were doing that kind of thing. So I had access to digital cameras. You know, this is all really high-tech stuff back then. Stuff not everybody had access to, but I had access to that kind of thing just by merit of being in a tech-based school. Oh. Oof. And so I had access to digital cameras, so I would take pictures of the students, and I would do profiles of them, and I would do like students of the week, and I would do like what the curriculum is, I guess. I don't think maybe I did that. I don't know, but I made a web page for my high school, and I did it, you know, of course, on the computers, and I think I may have worked on some of it on my web TV at home. So, you know, I was using multiple different technologies doing all of this stuff, which was really cool, really fun. I just had a blast doing it. One day, there is some sort of fair or technology expo. I don't know what it was. Something going on in the gym. I forget what exactly it was. But I think... And now, I'm not 100% on this, but I'm about 75% on this. What happened was, my history teacher submitted my website without my knowledge, or my history webpage, submitted my history webpage without my knowledge. Okay, we'll take this way. To this competition. And one day, I'm awarded first place in the web design category. And again, I didn't enter my own page, I don't think. I'm like, okay, at this point I'm like 95, 99% certain that I didn't do anything to enter this competition or anything like that. I didn't even pay too much attention to whatever this expo or whatever it was. But I'm awarded one day with this first place for... first place in the web design category. I'm like, whoa, I got first place? And my history teacher's like, yeah, I submitted your web page. I was like, that's freaking awesome! Dude, that felt so good. I got first place in a competition I didn't even enter. So that's freaking amazing to me. Oh, man. It sounds and it sounds like I'm bragging, but it's really not. I wasn't doing this in a competitive way. It's just something that it was a delight for me to experience, and I wanted to share that with you folks. It was fun. It was cool. And this gives you a little bit of background about things like involving my experience with web design and HTML, which these days is still I'm still pretty much up on that, kinda. But, you know, HTML5 is the norm now. And these days I'm using... HTML5 is the norm now, and like the last time I coded HTML regularly, I was using HTML 4 point something. So I'm still out of the loop when it comes to web design, but I still know the basics and the fundamentals and stuff like that. I still got a pretty good grip on HTML, PHP, CSS, stuff like that. And that's where I am today. And again, that's all kind of a previous chapter of my life, but I still have those skills, you know, as far as my work experience is concerned in regards to web design. Wasn't I going for something here? Oh yeah, I wanted to try out this rapier. Oh, we had just enough. Inflicts a critical hit immediately after rolling. Okay, that's neat, and we can actually try it out right now. Okay, we'll pick it up. We know what the arrow does on the assassin's dagger. We'll pick up the rapier and we'll sell the dagger. There we go. And we have to pick a mutation now. Let's go cooldown delay. Okay. Alright. Okay, so, like I said, I wanted to make this one a shorter video, and I kind of feel, I don't know, a little bit bad that the story was basically me bragging about winning first place in a competition that I didn't even enter. It almost sounds braggy, but really all I was trying to do with this video is provide you folks with an entertaining story, knowing full well that basically I'm phoning this video in because I just needed to get a quick video out for Friday. But anyway, I hope you folks enjoyed this video. I'm not going to continue on this run right now. I'm just going to go ahead and bring this session to a close so I can get it edited and uploaded to make sure you folks have something this Friday morning to be able to watch on my channel. Alright, so that will do it for this particular video. Hope you folks enjoyed this. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you folks next time.